Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. And I believe we've had a wonderful week. Welcome to our third class. And we'll be diving into what the topic of today is for, which is exploring the Figma frames and getting acquainted with it. So, trust you all are doing well. Just drop a hi, good morning on the comments and to warm us up, and I will just quickly share my screen. So I'm expecting your hi, good morning, I'm doing great on the comments chat. Okay. So I believe my hi, good morning frame we had from our previous class to avoid any confusion. And I just scrolled my screen to the left so that I can have an empty space. So if I scroll back, I have it. Or I could hide it or scroll. I'm just scrolling to take it out of the page so I can have a clear page. Then the two people present in the class, I'm not seeing my hi, good morning, I'm doing great on the comment box. But if you can see my screen, I will just quickly move over to Figma to kickstart the class. Now, when you stop seeing my screen or the previous incident that happened reoccurs, just quickly call the number that I left on the Discord channel. So proceeding, in our last class, I talked about frames. I say that the frame serves as the plot of land where all our designs will be taking place on. Now that okay, let me create a new page. Let me not delete this. Let me just leave this here in case of um, I want to make reference to it. So I'll just quickly create a new page. So creating a new page now, you can see that I have page two, but the layers are empty. So yes, so instead of deleting or hiding it, I'm going to create a new page, and I've done that. And I did that so that when I start explaining some differences in the layer stacking, it will be very clear, and there won't be any confusion towards it. So I say that the frame is a plot of land where all the designs are being done. So either I tap here. Remember that if I tap here, if I type on region tools, that means I want to see the options available. But if I tap the one that is already here, that is the icon, it means I've activated that icon. I hope you understood what I just said. If I want to activate a particular icon, and that icon is what is already visible here, I can just tap it. But if that one is not the one I want, if the icon that is currently visible is not the one I want, I'll just tap on the drop down icon so that other options can pop up for me to select what I want to select. So right here, by default, I have frame already there. Let's say that I have slice, for example. Yes, you can see that I don't have any need for slice now. What I was looking for is frame. I already know that the shortcut for frame is F. Either I tap F, either I tap F. You can see that by tapping only the letter F on my keyboard, it has activated the frame and swapped it immediately with slice that was here before. So to do that again, let me go back to slice. You can see that slice is here, and I want my frame. I want the options for frame. I'll just tap F. Or if I don't want to type F, I can just come to this drop down arrow and then type F. So with F being activated, it's showing me all the default frames in Figma. So right now, let me go for iPhone 16 Pro Max. So you can see that these frames came with their preset measurements. You can see that Android Compact is 412 by 917. We have Android Medium 700 by 840. iPhone 16, look at the width and the height size. iPhone 16 Pro, look at the width and the height size. iPhone 16 Pro Max, the same thing, the width and the height. So you can see the different templates. It's called a template because Figma created them. It came with Figma. We also have the ability to create our own frame templates. So let's say that I've clicked on Figma now. Let me delete this one that I did. So I just click on Figma. I don't want to make selections from these options that are here. What I just do is the same way I draw The same way I draw my shapes, I'll just hold down and be dragging. I'm creating a shape, but it is not a template that came with Figma. Now I have to see that the frame I created is of width 409 by 737. If you check Figma template, there is no 9 here. It has we have 402 by blah blah. So if it's 16 Pro that you want to use, you just need to ensure that this one you've created matches this exact value you want to create. But instead of wasting your time with that, why don't you just select a particular frame, iPhone 16, voila, you have it. Rather than creating your own and coming to adjust the values of the height and the width to get a template that Figma has already done for you for free. I mean, what I selected was iPhone 16 Pro Max, but it is naming it one, meaning that if I bring another one, it will, like for example, remember that Control D is to duplicate. So now that I've duplicated, it's seeing it as iPhone 16 Pro Max Max 2. If I Control D again to duplicate, so Figma is telling you that let me name these things for you so that it won't confuse you. I'm naming this one iPhone 16 Pro Max, 16 Pro Max 3. So Figma is trying to ensure that you are not confused and it's by default naming these frames for you. So let me get rid of this one so that we can just concentrate on one, ensuring that we all have clarity. So let me quickly check and know if my thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer. So we already have 4 people in the class. I said if you're just coming, just type in hi, good morning, I'm doing great in the comment section so that I can know the people that are present for today's class. So moving back to my Figma file, I have a frame. And I know why I keep repeating that the frame is the plot of land where designs are being created. So moving forward now, let me scroll this thing up. So you can see that I am dragging this thing up. There's times where you have multiple layer contents that it become very long, most times running into hundreds, depending on the size of design you are doing. So you might want to see a layer and it's below. You might want to drag this up to give you extra room to see the layer contents you have below. The same thing as page. Most times you might have pages that run into 50, 60, depending on the size of the design you're doing. So I currently have a project like that, the Pine Business Grow design, where we have many the first page was dedicated to the design of the website. Sorry, the first page was dedicated to the design of the Pine Business Grow logo. The second page was dedicated to the website. The third page was dedicated to the business person's dashboard interface. The fourth yeah fourth the fourth page was dedicated to the customer mobile app. The fifth page was dedicated to the salesperson's mobile app, and the seventh page was dedicated to the kitchen or warehouse mobile app. Then the seventh page was dedicated to the logistics company page, and the eighth page was dedicated to a logistic driver mobile app. So during the course of that project, it was crazy because I had to design everything from A to Z all alone. And when you become more experienced in this, you might not see it as anything. You can do it. But one crazy part about me doing that project was that it was needed in 1 week. So imagine designing different interfaces end to end for I've called over 8 different user persona, and you are meant to design the whole flow for them, their dashboard, color, logo, or and ensure that it is working properly. Only you as one designer, while a bunch of developers are sitting waiting for you to bring it and they will not divide it and develop it. So this is one of the things we see in the field of design. And also, um, thank you. I think it was Jennifer that posted on the Discord channel about the assignment I gave. I saw user personal. I wanted to correct that the personal doesn't have L at the end. So if you have done your assignment, you might have observed that is user persona. The L is not needed at the end of the word. So I purposely didn't correct it on Wednesday, hoping that when you do the assignment, you'll find out the correct spelling. So, moving forward to our own design interface now, we have this. So, let me explain properly by what I mean that the what's it called? The frame is a plot of land. I'm going to draw, so we have 440. The size of this frame is 440 by 956. So I'm going to draw a rectangle, 440. Okay, 956 is already there. 440. So you can see that these two things are equal, but their colors are not equal. So you have to be very keen to paying attention to details. So you can see that the rectangle came with D9, D9. And if for me to change it, I can either type FFFF into 6. I told you that hexadecimal color code has a strict limit of 6 characters. So either I do that or I drag this thing to the very end here. The color at the very end here is white. The color at the very end here is what? Black. So 0000 into 6 is black. FFFFF into 6 will give you pure white. So if you drag it to the edge, you have pure white. If you type in FFF, you have pure white. So there are numerous ways to kill a rat. Now, I have drawn these two things. By default, Figma is respecting, I told you that frame is the land. So due to the respect and the high priority of a frame in the Figma environment, Figma is telling you that this is iPhone 16 Pro Max. But here now, it's not telling you anything about this. Because in terms of superiority, frame comes before a shape. Now, let's go to the layer side. On the layer, you are seeing that we have iPhone, we have rectangle. You can see the icons before them. You can see the different icon. So be observant of the icon. Now, also moving forward, I would love us to play around and create a mini design in today's class. So quickly, let me just get uh, a frame sample that we'll be designing with. Hold on a little. And if you're just coming into the class, please kindly just say hello, good morning, I'm doing great on the chat box. Seems I've deleted all my sample frames. I did some massive deleting this week on my system and deleted a lot of things to free. I was almost running out of space. Okay, UI. Let me do it from Pinterest. So okay, Ifoma Jidechukwu, thank you very much. Welcome to the class. So I want to share the window so that you can also see where I source images from. One thing you should know as a designer is that before you proceed to design, even if you're a product designer, it's advisable that before you start a project, you do your research on what that project is all about, what is currently going on in that field. For example, now, let me use a graphic designer as an example. If I'm expected to design a children's flyer, maybe someone is having a kids, someone's child is having a party and they want other kids to be invited to the party. What I need to do as a designer or a graphic designer, first of all, I'm starting with graphic design to reduce my explanation to something that we are all familiar with. So let's say that this, for example, let me use someone that we're all familiar with. Let's say that Obi Kubana's son or child wants to do a birthday party. So they've contacted me or you as a product, as a graphics designer. What you need to do is, first of all, go online, search birthday uh kids birthday flyer. When you click on kids, search kids birthday flyer, you get to see examples of what other people have done, or how example of designs of how people have designed kids flyer over the year. Then you can download them and use them as guide or inspiration to create something better. It's not advisable to always jump into design thinking you can create something from your head. It's not possible. You are still new to the field. So you need to consume a lot of seeing ideas from other people so that your brain can now be like, oh, yes, I've seen this, I've seen this. Your brain will now start connecting and creating its own pattern. Then over the years, before you know it, you might not even have the need to search for other people's own anymore. Your brain, because it has been exposed to a lot of design concepts, it will start teaching you or showing you ways to create your own unique ways. I'm not saying you shouldn't be copying people's design. I'm saying that you need inspiration as the beginner in the space. So if you can hear me clearly, just say hi. I don't know. My viewing myself, it was looking as if the network was lagging. So if you can hear me clearly, just say hi on the comments. Please, it's very important so I can know if I'm moving forward or I'm going backwards. So can you hear me all? Okay, thank you very much. So now that I want to show you people how to design a simple screen, I used to have a lot of samples on my system over the years, but this week I had to delete it. I needed to download something, and it required a lot of space. So now that I've deleted that, it has given me a good opportunity to show you places you could get inspiration from. So that's why I'm sharing my whole screen now, the entire window. So I'm moving over to Pinterest. For example, on Pinterest, I'm having I'm going to type UI screens, UI screens mobile app. We're starting with a mobile app. So if you can see that on Pinterest, you have different samples that many other designers have created over the years. So you'll be seeing what other people are doing and be like, wow, okay, this is beautiful, this is nice, this is great. And this is where your color coding, your color, that's the design elements that I talked about, comes in play. You can see that all these designs are catering to different industries. We have the one for coffee. So let me right click and I can ask it to open in a new tab. Maybe I like this one because if I tap here, it will cover all those things, and I don't want that. So I need it to open in a new tab while I continue scrolling and looking for the designs that suits what I want to create. So as I'm scrolling, I'm moving forward. I'm purposely looking for ones that are very simple so that you don't get confused in the course of this class. So I've seen the one for coffee, and also you need to. I think I asked you guys to learn more about colors. So you must have known that when choosing a color for a project, ensure that that color conveys the brand voice of that project. So ensure that that color conveys the brand voice of that project, or that the client, most times you have to ask your client what color does he or she wants. And when they tell you the color and the color is not good, as a designer, you owe it up to them to tell them, okay, I hear you, but can I tell you what my suggestion is all about? This is why this color is good and this is why it's not good. This is why I suggest you, like, you are at liberty to give your own point of view. So you don't just sheepishly run along with whatever the the client tells you, unless you have suggested and they tell you no, that they want to proceed with what they currently have. And mm, you got to do what you got to do. So or even for graphics design, even for people that are into fashion design and the rest of them, So you can see this a video sample of how this person designed a more animated mobile app. So we'll be getting to do this. But please, we can only get to this stage if you take your assignment seriously and also push yourself very hard to take on classes, on do more research on your own outside of the class. Appreciate that. And also, yeah, so let's move over to the other frame and we can see what we have there. So we have this. Let me click here to see it properly. So we have this as a frame. And for the love of coffee, I think we should start with this. So vote in the comment section if we should do the coffee on or the home cleaning app. Which one should we get started on? We don't have time, so it could be fast with that. Should we start with the coffee or should we start with the home cleaning application? Which one should we jump on? Okay, Cynthia, you're not late that much. Okay, coffee. So thank you very much for making the class interactive. Let's jump on the coffee on immediately. So for this coffee on, I can right click. Remember that I'm doing this from Pinterest. So I can click on save image and it will save in my computer. So if you can do this option of saving in your computer, that will be fine. But I can also do from my system. I don't know for other people's system, but that's why I'm showing the two options. Either I right click and save, or I right click and copy the image. If I don't want it to be saved to my system, I'll copy the image, then come back to Figma, paste, and I'll ask Figma to paste it here. So now I have brought in an image from the internet without downloading it inside my Figma frame. So you have the alternative to do both. So remember that I'm trying to show the difference between a frame and a shape. So for now, let me just keep this shape here. Remember, I'm still going to show you why I'm saying that frame is the piece of land where all your design should be in. Now let's do something. Before we start any design of a mobile app, first of all, ask your client. I hope you have your pen and paper and you're writing this down. Before you start a mobile app design or a website design for your client, ask, have they chosen a brand color? If they've chosen a brand color, good and fine. Do they have a logo? Are they expecting you to provide them with a logo design? You will know that. So that when you are calculating your money, you know that, okay, even if you're not a logo designer, you're not a graphics designer, but your client doesn't have a logo for their brand, you can also top up that money and maybe liaise or collaborate with your friend that is a graphic designer. Let me pay you some amount so that you can create this logo for my client. So this is why collaboration is very, very vital in the tech industry. And then you can now sit on your own. Thank God for AIs and ChatGPT. You could just tell ChatGPT, I have this client that is a tailor fashion designer that needs a mobile app for her Nigerian or American client. I need colors. I need two or three color that suits that will help convey warmth, friendliness, uh, professionalism, and trust to the customers while using the app. ChatGPT can give you a few color code, and then you can ask it to prompt it more, maybe get three options, give to your client and let them decide. So I'm saying that for you to even start a for you to start a project, you have to ensure that I'm not saying that it will delay you. You could start, because even that Pine Business Grow I was talking about, when I started it, it was just about sealing the deal with the person that we had met at that time. So I even started with a brown color. I didn't even go because I had 2 days to deliver. And I know the man will not even be interested in the color. So I just ran through the night with brown color for the Pine Business Grow. And when we played the prototype, because it was not developed, with your Figma, you can do a prototype. So when we did the prototype for the man loved it very much. So when the man told us that yes, we have the project, we had to go back and start doing it properly, change the color to suit. But I'm just trying to say that you have to know the be conscious of the scenario you're playing in. Uh-huh. So it's because we have limited time. I had 2 days to develop for all those user persona. So color was the least thing in my mind at that very moment. But after we had secured the thing, we had to come back, started using, because it has to do with business growth. If you check the www.pine business grow, you see that it's green. We used a green because growth. We know that people we all know that the green color symbolizes growth, progress, prosperity, freshness, and hence. So we had to go with green and white with that. So it was after we've gotten the deal that we had to sit and then start choosing colors. It was even the logo itself. The logo at first I had to use word mark. We have types of logo. We have the word mark logo. Word mark logo, like for example, Facebook, you just have FACEBOOK. Whenever you see just a word or a name as a name of a brand, it's a word mark. Word is WORD. Then we have mm, I forgotten. We have mascot. Mascot logos are where you have images of a man. For example, KFC. If you see KFC logo, you see the face of the person that has KFC together with the KFC. So we call such logo what's it called? Mascot. 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 Mascot logo. We also have letter mark. Letter mark logos, like for example HOB TVs, all these are HOB movies. If you're into movies, when you have abbreviations as the name of the brand, we call it letter mark. The one that has the name, we call it word mark. Then what other type? Symbolic symbols. I think is this symbol pictorial. Yeah, I think pictorial, that's the name. When you have images like the Twitter beds, those ones, the TikTok logo, then those are types of logos. So depending on the duration, you can just use a word mark. So at first, we started the Pine Business Grow with a word mark, and over the course of the project, when the whole pressure started boiling down, I had to come and start creating a more pictorial logo for it. So I'm saying that for you to start a project, it's always good to ask your client, what color would you want? Do you have a logo? If you don't have a logo, so that if you're outsourcing, or if you have the ability or the knowledge or the skill to create a logo, that's another side hustle you are providing them with. So you also put money for your logo, because it's part of the hustle. So now, starting out with what we have here now, we will be creating a mobile app for a coffee app. For this coffee app now, for every application you've ever used, check your WhatsApp. If you tap on WhatsApp, before WhatsApp open, the icon, the chat icon, let me show you real quick. The chat icon for uh, let me do it again. I don't know if you saw that. If I tap on WhatsApp, you can see that the icon came out. The icon will come out, launches you into the WhatsApp environment. The same thing to Facebook. Whenever you click on Facebook, it first of all the F comes out just quickly before the home page opens up. So all the application, even Instagram, Twitter, that their icon first of the first page, you just see their icon or their name just appear, vroom, then just quickly it will launch you into the main page. So that particular page where that W, okay, let me confirm that you saw what the WhatsApp did so that I can ensure that okay, so did you see what the WhatsApp, did you understand what I meant by the WhatsApp icon thing? Did you understand? I need to know so I can proceed. Can you hear me? Okay. Let me swipe out my this thing. I need to open WhatsApp. So if I tap on WhatsApp, so if I tap on WhatsApp, can you see this icon? The telephone icon. The telephone icon opened before this interface opened. Have you understood it now? So just type understood. Let me know that you saw what I just did now. Just say understood so that I can differentiate it from the yes, yes I've been saying so we are referring to the same thing. Like use the word understood if you saw the WhatsApp thing I was trying to explain. Okay, perfect, perfect. Now, that is what we call a splash screen. Every application has it. If you try opening your WhatsApp now, your Facebook, as long as that interface, as long as your Facebook interface was not opened before, like it is not hiding under your this thing. Let's say it's like if you clear all your tabs and no application is already running in the background on your phone, when you click on the application to open again freshly without it being running on the background before, every of those applications will have a splash screen. So a splash screen is the first point of contact when using an application. But design didn't start from a splash screen. So let's go back to this and let me look for a UI, a coffee app design screen with a splash screen. So I want one that has a sample splash screen so that we could work with that. Uh, okay, this one has something like that. So let me open it in a new tab while we keep looking for. Okay. Okay, so you can see how this particular application is. Look at their splash screen. Their splash screen is simple with coffee at the back and then coffee written on it before it brings you here. So let's use this as a sample. So I'm also going to bring that into my Figma and paste. So we're not trying to recreate our own splash screen. So we're recreating our own splash, sorry, Control Z to undo what I just did. So I'm bringing this here so that it will be closer to where I can quickly. Okay, so I'm having images of coffee at the back over spilling. So that means I need an image inside this my frame pouring off from a glass jar. So I can come back to Pinterest. I'll come back to Pinterest and also type image of coffee seeds pouring off a glass jar. So let me click enter and see what it gives me. Okay. So I will right click to open the ones that are similar to what I'm looking for. If I can't find the exact thing I'm looking for, I could open up to see similar. Okay. See that this one is very similar also, similar to what we are looking for. So now I'll come here, increase view it in large size. Yes, and then right click to save my image. So now that it has saved, I can just copy it from here, from my download, and bring it inside Figma. So look at the image, inside click, and sorry, not copy. I could right click, then scroll down and ask it to flip horizontal. So when I tap flip horizontal, you can see the direction it's flipping to. So let me do Control Z and try vertical and know if it will give me what I'm looking for. Mm, mm, mm. I'll right click again, flip horizontal. Okay, it's not really giving me what I'm looking for. So we could work with this for now. So now I'm going to now select the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Okay, before we proceed, let me now explain what I mean by rectangle too. Then for the image inside Figma, I'll duplicate inside the frame. But when you are doing it on a rectangle, it's running to hide at the back of a rectangle. Even if I bring it forward, I click because the image is currently selected. Even if I click and say bring forward, it will just cover. So what this means is that the frame object in Figma is meant to accommodate things. The frame is meant to model things, to hug things, to accommodate things, to protect things. I don't know if you understand it, but let me explain it again using the layer. So watch the layer this side, this part of the this thing, the Figma environment. This is the iPhone 16 Pro Max. If I currently this tiny icon is telling you that the iPhone 16 Pro Max frame is open. So if I tap on it, it has closed up. If I tap on it, it has opened. So when it's open, it's showing me the things that the iPhone is protecting, the things that are inside the iPhone, just like my house that I've built inside this land or on this land. It's showing me that thing. But if you watch the rectangle, see the rectangle, you can see how it's being highlighted. It's highlighting itself behind because this image is very large, but the rectangle is still trying to tell you that I am here or I am here. When you select me, you can still see me. Then this image one, which one is image one, sir? Okay, image one is referring to this, but I'm referring to this particular one, which is when you start creating more design, this thing might affect your layer stacking, and that's understand. Then this iPhone 16 Pro Max now, remember that it's already carrying the image inside it. So if I blind iPhone 16 Pro Max, I am blinding everything that it has inside of it, and that is the good function of a frame, ensuring that the frame is protecting everything, ensuring that the frame is protecting everything it is. Now, watch a tricky thing that you need to pay attention when putting things inside the frame. If you watch this frame and watch this image, you can see that there is a indentation. Yeah, is that what they call it in English students, correct me if I'm wrong. This space Just like you're writing something and after a paragraph, you move to give an indent. Is it indentation or indentation? This space is telling you that this image is a child, is a baby inside the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Meaning that iPhone 16 Pro Max icon, this one, is the mother. It is more superior. It is in charge of this particular group of elements. That is this one that disappears when you blind it. Because I could have a lot of other things under this iPhone 16 Pro Max. But because they're not on the same line, watch other elements. Watch these ones, watch one. They are all on the same line with this iPhone 16 Pro Max, telling you that all of them have equal right on this black empty space that we're working on. Let me take that again. These other elements that are here, these ones that are here, these ones, all these ones, they are on the same all these, they are in the same level with this iPhone 16 Pro Max because they are not inside the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But this child, this one that has to be inside the house of iPhone 16 Pro Max, in Afuno, it's giving it respect that, okay, I'm under you. This space is always there. If you're not understanding, just ask question. Let me clear this thing once and for all. I don't know if what I'm saying so far is creating a good this thing for you. What I'm trying to say is that now we have this rectangle that is here. This rectangle it can never have the ability that a frame has. So rectangle now cannot house this image. That is why this kind of designs that we have here, you can never do it on a frame, on a shape. So whenever you have a design that you need to create, it must be on a frame. It must be on a plot of land. Let me check and know if we're still together. Okay. So if you have any question, just be free to ask on the comment section, and I will answer when I come to it. So you can see that for me to create all these frames that we're seeing here, I must use, sorry, for me to create all these designs that you're seeing here, I must do it on a frame. Because some people will be like, they want to play smart. Watch this. Some people will be like, let me play smart. It's the same rectangle. They'll be like, rectangle and this frame, they are the same thing now. Is it not the same height? Is it not? They are white. They might not even recall the difference, the naming hierarchy I refer to. They'll just be putting their element on top of they'll just be putting all the elements on top of a rectangle. Element I mean is maybe they'll now put this button, this image, this write up, all these things. They'll be doing it on a shape. And when it gets to prototype, when it gets to the time to prototype, you will now see that you cannot work on it. You cannot see that you cannot prototype a shape. Prototype only works on a frame. Prototype only works on a frame. So before you build anything, make sure that you are building inside a frame. So that not after creating 50 screens, you now find out that you've been doing it on a shape and wasting your time. And it's just like redoing the whole design from the beginning. So I'm saying it for people that would want to play smart and be like just create a rectangle like frame and start putting all the elements there. When it comes to prototyping, it will expose you before my court of justice. So be careful. And also, talking about placing elements on a frame, watch this. I'm going to remove this shape outside of this frame. I'm going to tell this shape. Now you have the same. In fact, let me reduce the size of this shape so that you can see what I'm talking about. So watch this. You can see that this frame, how is this thing over controlling itself? So looking at this now, in your mind, you'll be like, this image is inside this frame, but it is not. It is no longer inside the frame. Looking at it here, it's on top of it. But in terms of functionality, it is no longer inside the frame. Now let's see the layer. Watch the layer icon. Right now, this frame is existing on its own. Let's blind it so that you see. It's existing on its own. You might see it here that is on top of it, but for in terms of functionality, you're just wasting your time. Now here, the image and the rectangle and the frame, they are now age mates. All of them are just flowing together. But for this image to do what we need it to do, it has to be a child inside this frame. So I have to drag it inside this frame. So you can see that looking at it here, nothing changed. But on the layer, that's why the layer is very superior. You have to make sure that your layer is functioning the way it's meant to function. Here on the layer, you can see that they're no longer on the same line. This space is now telling you that this thing is now inside the frame. They're no longer age mate. So this one is now dependent on the iPhone 16 Pro Max frame. So now I think that have clearly explained out what we need to understand about a frame being a plot of land. So proceeding with our splash design, to design this splash interface, I'm just going to increase the length of my image. So now that we have this, we have created something similar to this, but now you can see that the brand name. So what we need to do is come back to our frame. I'll tap on it. So to yesterday about the property of that thing that you select or highlight, because this iPhone 16 Pro Max is of more superiority than the image. When you click on iPhone 16 Pro Max, what though iPhone 16 Pro Max is housing all these elements you've put inside it, because you've clicked on it as the superior being that is housing it, it is giving you the displaying the properties of that iPhone to you. But if I intentionally click on the layer inside the iPhone 16 Pro Max that I want, it will not give me the properties of the image or the element that I clicked on. So, but what I want to work on is the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So, what I need to do to give it that black effect that it has is to add a layer. So now that I've added a layer, I will just keep adding. I'll just keep adding. I'll just keep adding. So doing that, you can see that it's not giving me what I want. So I'll just quickly delete. I just quickly delete. Do another one to increase the opacity. It's still not giving me what I want. So what I'll do now, haven't tried this is not working. What I'll do is to put another rectangle inside of this iPhone. So now that I have that, I'm going to do that. This. You can see that I tried the stacking on. It wasn't giving me the effect I wanted. So I decided to go with this. So now that I've created, watch my layer. I'm having iPhone 16 Pro Max rectangle 2 and the image. So if I blind iPhone 16 Pro Max, you can see that yes, layer wise, this is correct. But what I need to do is to give this rectangle a black fill, then reduce the opacity. So now you can see that I've achieved something closer to what we intend to achieve. So I'm having this. So if it is not dark enough, you are free to maybe also stack. So you can see now that I'm stacking on the rectangle, not on the iPhone anymore, you can see that it is working. So if you want that, you can just keep stacking until you get what you need to, or you feel that okay, has curved edges. Our frame have curved edges that makes them friendly. So what I need to do now is corner radius. So I'm going to give it a corner radius of 20. Can you see now that it's now looking more friendly? Now, the next thing we are going to do is to give it a brand name. So quickly tell me a brand name on the comment section that you would want me to use. You have 5 seconds, please. A coffee brand name. Be free. Be don't feel shy. If it is your name, just coin it and give me a name in the chat box of what name you would want the coffee app to be. Jennifer, Cynthia, everybody, quick, 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 quick. Have you guys done it? Which one are you referring to, Cynthia? You said you can see how you're working this. Are you referring to the frame or are you referring to the black effects I just created using the rectangle? Okay, but you were asking question about how what was working. Are you referring to the black effect that was created? Were you referring to the black effect or should I proceed? Have you understood what you need to understand or should I proceed? Okay, for the black effect, I created a rectangle and the rectangle is inside the frame. Look at it. I created a rectangle. But the rectangle, watch my mouse now. The rectangle came with only one color layer called D9, D9, D9. Okay, let me do it again. You already know how to create a rectangle, so I suppose you already do. And it was at 100. So I created a rectangle. Watch the layer now. Under iPhone 16 Pro Max, I have rectangle 2 and the image. Remember the image. Let me take the rectangle down. I dragged it down. Can you see that the image is now on top of the rectangle? But that's not what I want. So the rectangle has to be on top of the image. So now that the rectangle is on top of the image, I want this rectangle to have a black color. So I'll come because the rectangle is currently selected. I'm seeing the properties of the rectangle I'm seeing the property of the rectangle here. So if I click on the so now that I've given it a black color, I don't want it to be too black. So I'll reduce the opacity. That was the purpose of us learning opacity. So I'm having this. So now that I've have this, it's too light. I still need the effect to be darker. So I'll come to this my fill because what I'm still working on is on the rectangle. I'll come to add fill. The more I'm adding, the more it's stacking and the image is becoming darker. So just notify yes, I've understood so that I will know that that's been taken care of. So I have this. I've created that black effect that I'm looking for. Now to proceed, I'm going to type Cynthia Coffee. So, okay, we've not done text. We've not done text. So sorry. Let me quickly so we've done the move to, the frame, the shape, but we've not done text. So for you to type something, you type on the text to the text to be and tap. So because I tapped on this iPhone 16 Pro Max, by default, Figma has known that okay, this is where this lady wants to keep this text and has created a text layer. Watch my mouse. It has created a text layer. So this text layer, its name is text because I have not imputed anything. And because I've created a text layer, Figma is showing me the properties of a text. So it is now waiting for me to type what I need to type. So I'm going to type SCINT, Cynthia Coffee. So now that I've typed Cynthia Coffee, I'm seeing Cynthia Coffee is highlighted. It's telling me the position of the X and Y position in respect to the space. It's telling me if I want to rotate the text, I can rotate it. just like what we did on the shapes. Now, moving down, remember the opacity also based on appearance. If I reduce the opacity, that means I'm reducing the opacity of the entire layer. Whenever you're dealing with opacity on the appearance setting, you are affecting the layer. That means if if iPhone 16 Pro Max is selected and I reduce the appearance under the opacity under the appearance, it will affect everything that iPhone 16 Pro Max is covering. Just like I used that book to show you the other day. So most importantly now is the text. So now remember that we talked about the text family, the font family, and the font style. So right now, if you are you can get to choose the font family. Before we do that, let's increase the size of the font so that you can see it properly. So let me zoom in. So on my keyboard, I'm holding on minus can help you zoom something out. So control plus, if you hold down your control key, command plus on to choosing a suitable font family. Then on the font style, you can see that this one doesn't have a bold. It only has one child, which is regular. But I need it to have, I need the text to fatten up. So let me click on variable and see what variable has for me. Okay, let me look for another font that has. And you can see here we have all the fonts. You can select based on the category you're looking for. Let me go for popular fonts and see what. Okay, let's just go with this. While you practice, you can play around. Um, okay, this one only have regular, but at least this one is more fatter and more visible to me. Then the font size, I think 48 is better. So let me go back to 48. So I have this. So control minus minus so that I can zoom out. So now that I've zoomed out now, depending on where I want this, push it up or it is now in the middle, horizontally, sorry, vertically, but horizontally, now it has told me that yes, it's in the middle. But if I don't want to do it manually like this, if I don't want to be moving it around manually, let's say that I have it somewhere just floating like that, because it is inside a frame, once you click, I need it to be aligned horizontal center. Just tap it to highlight it in the middle, which is horizontal center. Then for this middle one, you ask it to align it vertical center. Once you tap it, Figma will bring it in the middle. So now it has placed this brand name in the middle of the frame, the exact position, unless you personally don't want it there, unless you have a different style and decide to go with something like this, and that is fine. It depends on how your creativity is driving you. Then now you can see that we've achieved this screen. So I will rename this thing from iPhone 16 Pro Max. So to rename it, you just double tap it. When you double tap on that place where the name is, it will select it. Sorry. Then you now name splash screen. And that is that. Or you name it coffee splash screen, whatever, depending on what you want. So let me just quickly put this in the middle. In the middle. and we have our Cynthia coffee. So any question? Okay. If I'm asked about changing the frame, wait, let me read that again. Can I directly change the color or shade of the frame without adding the rectangle? Yes. So let's do another one now. Let me click another frame and add iPhone 16 Pro Max. So I have an iPhone 16 Pro Max here now. Do I want to change the color of the iPhone 16 Pro Max? Yes, I'll tap here. I'm changing the color. I'm changing the color. So depending, but why we did the rectangle on is that we are trying to achieve a shade. We have an image, and the image is not the image. Why we did what we did, let me explain again. It's because we need to create this black effect on top of an image. Now let me put an image inside this inside this iPhone that we just created. So now we've created this. I've put an image here, but I need to create this black effect. I need to create this black effect. So if I come here and start adding plus, can you see that I'm also getting it? I'm also getting it with the by adding multiple this thing. You can do that. But when I observed that it took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of this, I decided to go for a rectangle plus then four other layers. You can do that. If you want to go this long mile, good and fine. If you want to go the mile of this other one where we had a rectangle, it kept my distance rectangle. For this one, we didn't have a rectangle. We just had the image and then this and this. So you can see that they are all possible. You can okay. So the class has run into 1 hour 9 minutes. I would have to go further, but I don't want to, it's still the baby step, and I don't want to be overpacking you guys with much information. So please try out what we've done today. And by Monday, we'll be proceeding because after the splash screen, the next thing we have is the onboarding screen. Onboarding is called ONBOARDING. So the onboarding screen is those screens that, for example, if you've used Zender before, most times you enter into your Zender, uh you see images showing you um send faster with Zender, read more, next, skip, all those kind of things. For example, any new application you download, you might see okay, let me quickly show you what an onboarding screen looks like. Onboarding screen will look like. But let me even this first one is what the last page will look like. But let's go to Pinterest. So in Pinterest, let me write onboarding coffee app UI screen. Okay, look at how Starbucks. We all know about Starbucks. Look at how they did theirs here. Then okay, you can see how these people did theirs. Yeah, we haven't have we are not seeing. Look at an example. Okay, look at a more detailed example of an onboarding screen. Look at another one. So if you can see my screen, see what an onboarding screen does. This is a very typical example of an onboarding screen. An onboarding screen tells you more about the app. You can see that this one is telling you, healthy foods, blah, 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 blah. You can skip it or read it. If you skip or you scroll, you see the next one. In this, I'm trying to explain as onboarding. Just type onboarding understood. Then you can see this one. let's get cooking. And one thing about onboarding is that it's you can have an onboarding screen from 2 to 4 pages or five. Some people go from two, having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 onboarding pages. But here you can see that this one has this one has 1, 2, 3 onboarding pages. Then for this other coffee, I saw another coffee that has okay our own. You can see this onboarding page telling you more about the apps, brew your perfect cup, blah blah blah. You can skip it, you can go to the next. Chill with sweet streets, you can skip it, you can go to the next. Refresh with every sip. So this is what an onboarding screen does. So when designing, we design the splash screen first. The splash screen is where the logo or the name of the app will be, just like this Starbucks. Just like this Starbucks. Look at their splash screen. Their splash screen is just white and then their logo. They didn't add too much drama to it. So it depends on the style or the feel or what you want the design to look like at the end of the day. Yes, Cynthia, the onboarding screen, the spelling is correct. So just as you can see, we're now seeing more samples of coffee apps that we could design. So you can see this is another app onboarding. This is Starbucks splash screen. Then they didn't put onboarding in this particular design. They just went from splash screen to this. So it just depends on how the designer or the team or the stakeholders want their design to be like. Some people just, but if it's for splash screen, you must have a splash screen. You can decide not to have an onboarding screen, but for splash screen, every app must have a splash screen. Then what's it called? Coffee. Because here right now, I don't know if the real Starbucks app has onboarding screen, but I'm judging based on this particular design that somebody did. Uh-huh. Well, you might see some apps that will just jump from onboarding to this. They just want you to log in or sign up. Uh-huh. They expect you, maybe you already know what their app is all about, or maybe when they do new updates, they will tell you more about the app. It depends. But for splash screen, you must have your splash screen at the beginning of the app. So just look at this particular one, and I love this design. So this one, you can see how they did their splash screen. So the image I used, you might not use it. You're free to use this one. Just as long as you understand what creating a splash screen is all about, I'm good. So you can see what they did here, how they designed it. So we might even be going with these other interfaces while when we start exploring more of our design journey. But tomorrow we'll be doing this particular one. Let me even copy it. Know that what you're currently doing now is just teaching you how to create these things. A time will come when I'll start judging the design principles. Is the flow consistent? But right now I'm not judging that. So I'm just expecting you guys to learn how to bring these things together and make them work. So let me just copy this and place in our Figma file because we'll also be doing it. As you can see that Figma is telling me that a new version of Figma design is available. Will save your work, but you need to reload to see edits from other users. So I don't know what that will look like, but maybe after the class, I will reload and see what's new Figma has. What's new? Feel free to go to Pinterest and you see how people are doing what they are doing. But let me tell you the truth, I don't like this particular design. This thing was done by a beginner. So I like this. You can see the color shades and the rest of it. You are having a brown color and you're using a black to write on it. So you can see that here, if you can see my mouse, if you can see my mouse, this is not a good design. This person would have used white. When you have a dark color, you use white color to write on top of it. When you have a bright background, you use dark color to write on it. Just like here, we have white background. Black was used to write and it's looking clear. But here that you have brown and black, they are almost in the same dark color family. So what this person should have used there is a white text to pop up the information so that the information will be easier to read, just like he did in this other one that didn't show up very well. So these are the things you will start bearing in mind. But right now, I'm not being that harsh because I need you to start, at least get an idea, be a beginner because you're a beginner. Feel free to fail around. But I'm just pointing it out that a time will come where the decision and the judgment will be harsh and you'll be needed to come correct. So this other one, you can see how they did their splash screen, just the coffee. They placed their logo here and reduced the opacity. This logo was placed as an image and opacity was reduced, giving it this shade. Then you can see their splash screen. You can see what they did here, how they did their next button, making it look like a mouth icon for you to click next. So these are just different ways people create their designs. So feel free to go to Pinterest, type splash screen, onboarding screen, and see as numerous designs as possible. So with that, I'll be expecting you to be in high spirits with me in our next class as we proceed to design the onboarding screens and start getting the feel of what the whole product design thing is all about. So with that, I'm bringing the class to an end on this very note. See you guys on Monday and have a wonderful day. But if you have any question, you're free to ask right now. If you don't have any question, just say no questions and we can have the class closed. Okay. So have a wonderful day and like the video and you're free to subscribe. See you in our next class. Have a wonderful day. Okay. The assignment. I'll get back to you on that. I'll get back to you on that. Have a wonderful day. Bye.